I'll mute us. Are we good now?
We should be.
Okay. Good evening or morning, depending where you are in the world. Welcome to Yumi Moore's Mental Health Monologues. Yumi Moore is a registered student organization at UC Berkeley, partner with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, AFSP for short, to promote mental health awareness and suicide prevention. My name is Melody.
And I'm August. On behalf of You Mean More, our writers, and our performers, we would like to thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate and better understand the personal mental health experiences of the members of the Berkeley community. Though You Mean More is coming up on its 10th year, this is our first full year of digital events, so we appreciate your support in this new medium. One of the Mental Health Monologues' purposes is to promote the theme, Stronger Together. During this time of the pandemic and quarantine, this idea is more important than ever. We may be physically alone, but we have a community of people who are here to support us.
As we begin, we would like to encourage supportive comments in the chat. We may not be here in person, but we can still support each other virtually. We would also like to let you know that there are sensitive topics such as self-harm, addiction, and other mental health issues. We will be including warnings on the slides for pieces that might need them. You'll find them on the title slide for each piece, in the bottom right-hand corner under the credits. Please feel free to mute and or step away if you feel the need to. Please welcome our first performer, Melissa Milligan, performing an untitled piece written by Hitomi Torn.
Thank you, Melody. If I was a dog, shame is my leash. If I was a cactus, shame is the water greeting my parched lips. If I was a church, I'd kneel and pray for shame to overcome me. Shame pervades my being. I am not shame, yet shame finds its way so intuitively, like a bird migrating south for the winter, to burrow in the deepest caverns of my soul. And shame on me for feeling this way.
Thank you, Melissa. Next, we invite Pimi Yaga Hahevige to perform a piece entitled It Was Me, written by Wesley Liu.
Thanks, August. My first year in college, I should be excited with glee. Yet something's off, and I can't tell what's wrong with me. No more parents to tell me, just stop feeling sad. But there's still a voice inside telling me I'm bad. Bad at grades, bad at love, bad at life. I'm just not enough. I constantly remind myself, others have it rough. Why do I matter? You have it worse, and it would be privileged of me to put myself first. Just do some self-care with face masks and such. Stop acting dramatic. You're doing too much. Those words stung deep, yet something was true. I was lost to myself in all that I do. It was hard to say no to people left and right when getting through the day took all of my might. People know me for my smile, my aura, and energy. But this whole time, I was still my worst enemy. Then COVID came, and right after Zoom, I found myself back at home in my room. I tried my best to keep up with work, but all the tasks started making me berserk. And that's when I broke down in tiredness and tears and realized I needed to be honest with all of my fears of failure, of pain, of being alone. I could finally hear my true self in my tone. It wasn't pretty, but I didn't care. I just needed someone to be aware. This whole time, I thought it couldn't happen to me, but that's only because I didn't want to see. No amount of clubs or awards or wealth will ever make up for your mental health. So take some time to put yourself first and don't let your emotions build up and burst. Being vulnerable feels scary at the start, but it's the start of the process to care for your heart. You're not selfish, you matter, and you'll be heard. Just know you can reach out, even with one word.
Thank you, Piyumi. Our next performer is Cassie Marsky performing her original piece, The End of the Line.
Thank you. Raindrops rolling sideways across the train windows, a cool breeze sneaking through the cracks. It's dark outside, nighttime with clouds covering the stars. On the train, there are people reading, people sleeping, people looking out the window, but none crying, just me. But don't worry, no one can see. The tears flow backwards into my eye sockets. They slide down my throat, bounce off my rib cage, drip down my legs, and puddle in the soles of my feet. I look out the window and see a mall, lit by multicolored lights on an oversized Christmas tree. Children with tiny rain boots happily stomping in puddles. Seconds later, it is out of sight. We pass an apartment building with a window at eye level. A family sits around a kitchen table, the light of a large lamp illuminating their faces. I see myself at the table, laughing, talking. The mom puts her arm around me and I smile. I put my head on her shoulder. She looks out towards the train, and I try to make eye contact. But I know to her I'm just another passenger on another train on another cold, dark night. We pass a hotel, and I'm reminded of vacations, cozy in a comfortable bed surrounded by family. A warm glow fills the hotel rooms, their curtains drawn. I close my eyes and lean my head against the train window, but it is cold and hard. At last the train arrives, the platform is deserted, rain puddling in the tracks. I walk home, nothing but my thin gray sweatshirt to keep me dry. I step in a puddle and am instantly chilled, as I feel my tears seep from my feet and mix with the murky rainwater. I arrive at my apartment, and a gust of cold air hits me. As I open the door, and I remember I forgot to close the windows. With a sigh, I head straight to my bed, not even bothering to turn on the light.
Thanks, Cassie. Next up, we have Hitomi Torn performing her original piece, Simon Says, inspired by Ashley Davis and Upa's Simon Says.
Let's play a game. It's called Simon Says. You do what you're told, but only as long as Simon says. If he doesn't say Simon Says, you lose. Ready? Okay. We'll start off with something easy. Simon says, get out of bed. Your limbs barely twitch in response. You don't move, you're not tired, not paralyzed, not really, at least. More devoid of purpose, even when purpose is put on a silver platter and handed, no shoved, right in front of your very lips. Your hungry, hungry lips. Desperate for purpose, but oh so scared to have a taste of it. Simon peers over. Failed? Already? The day hasn't even started. Well, okay, let's try again. Was that a bit of a scoff? You couldn't tell. Simon says, go to class. You haven't gotten out of bed yet, so how in the hell would you go to class? You spend a few minutes in bed, on your phone, scrolling purposelessly past perfect people with perfect pictures of their perfect lives, which makes you feel weaker, worthless. Why? Why can't I do what they do? But as you spent 10 minutes throwing a one-man pity party, 10, 15 more minutes pass. You're now late for your class, too late. So late, so why bother going at this point? Just stay in bed. That's what you do best anyway. Simon says, take a shower. A silly shower should be simple enough, so you say. A simple shower shouldn't be so strenuous, though your stressed laughter and sad eyes seem to suggest otherwise. In fact, you can't even recall the last time you really, really rinsed off. Okay, now, Simon says, tell your friends how you're feeling. No, you say to Simon. They'll call me names like gross and grimy and just not understand. Simon repeats himself, firmer this time. Simon says, tell your friends you're sad. sad doesn't quite cut it, but you bite your tongue. It's the least you could do. It's the disappointment laced with that pleading tone that is your perfect guilt trip cocktail. Guilt is your drug, and you take a big, thirsty gulp of it. It burns on the way down, but it's always done the job. And so you push through the burning and tell your friends, I haven't showered in 4 days. You type timidly, intimidated, trembling. A message chimes. A preemptive glance. Another one. Curiosity gets the better of you, and you snatch your phone right back up to look. Ew, you're smelly. Smelly. This one's got 4 Ys. Go shower, ew. You can't help but laugh. As if it's that simple, as if you hadn't thought of it before, as if you hadn't spent hours upon hours trying to convince yourself to get out of bed to shower only to land in this endless cyclical process of self-induced self-loathing. Simon looks at you disapprovingly, accusingly. I didn't say, Simon says. There is no undoing of what has been already done, so you close your phone, close your eyes, and close yourself from everything you know. It's for the better, you tell yourself, and you retreat to your triple padlocked, double-barred casket with the key that only you have, no one else. You close the lid, and all you see is black.
Thank you, Hitomi. Our next piece, titled Unopened Gauze, will be performed by Cherry Chan and is also written by Hitomi Torn, accompanied by a piece of art drawn by Taro Bean.
Unopened gauze. We cannot selectively numb our dark experiences. Brene Brown. You'll never hear my soul bleed, but that's because you don't even realize your own wounds have since been festering.
Thank you, Cherry. Our next performer is Melody Tran with her original piece, Change.
Change. I'm not talking about becoming a different person. No. I'm talking about the change in your pockets. That kind of change. The kind of change that jingle jangles in your pockets, that you receive from a cashier, that you can't bring yourself to use when paying, in fear of taking too long. Change. How I hate those extra coins, unnecessary baggage, the mocking sounds as they cling, cling, cling against each other. I am a hoarder by nature. My fear of throwing away something potentially useful in the future makes me keep countless of things. Things I desire, things I found use for, things that are even cute. Just keeping things for the sake of keeping things. But change? I hate it. Would use it the moment I have the chance to. But I can't. I hoard them because I have to, not because I want to. A penny, a nickel, a dime. A quarter would be the best. Ask me for any of those individually, no qualms, no fear, no sweat. Ask me for exactly 36 cents, oh, just take my goddamn dollar. Did you want 3 dimes, a nickel, and a penny? Or maybe a quarter, a dime, and a penny? There are too many combinations to think of, but only 1 second to hand it over. Now I have an extra 64 cents. My anxiety keeps me stuck in fear, paralyzed in fear, and sometimes shaking in fear. I have people laughing at me, talking for me, paying for me, so I can just Venmo them back. I have people who understand me, but also people who get annoyed with me. I don't want to be like this either. I want to be able to pay using coins, without the fear, without the sweats, without the shakes. I want to change, to be fearless, to have confidence, to be without 2.5 piggy banks full of coins. I really do want to change, but for now, I'll keep my change.
Thanks, Melody. Next, we have Vivian Lam performing Hitami Torng's original piece titled Spiral. There's a content warning for asphyxiation.
Thank you, August. Hands, finger by finger, tightening its grip on my jugular. Exposed and vulnerable, I forget how to breathe as my throat closes in on itself. Asphyxiation is something of a slow burn, I suppose. This is to prevent catastrophe, my mind tells me, though this is just as full-blown and terrifying. And my thoughts, now angular and sharp, begin eating away at my subconscious, first in timid nibbles, then in large tears. Until slowly, without realizing, I've relinquished all control of my person to this monster dwelling in the murky abysses of my mind. I feel myself spiraling in free fall into darkness, my surroundings becoming hazier and hazier, like a nostalgic childhood memory you aren't quite sure existed. Words are spoken, and I hear, but I'm not listening. I can't.
Thank you, Viv. Up next, we will have Jason Ash performing an untitled anonymous piece.
There comes a time when children grow, when parents grieve, when rivers flow. There comes a time when we are hurt, when all hope's lost and tossed and girt by rings of pain, no happiness. But once this gloom evaporates and pleasure comes and fills its place, tranquility and hope returns, emotions growing, taking turns to help endure our previous life. For happiness is nothing more than pictures laying in our drawer. It helps remember, grow, and smile our ever-changing, nice lifestyle of family, friends, and much, much more.
Thank you, Jason. We are now halfway through the show, so we'll have a 10-minute intermission. Feel free to use the restroom, stretch your legs, and get some water. We'll keep an eye in the chat, so we'll be here to answer any questions, pass messages on to performers, or just say hi. See you in 10 minutes.
Welcome back! Hope you all had a refreshing intermission. We will now start the second half with Subeksha Sharma performing Hitomi Torung's original piece titled Anxiety, a saga. There is a content warning for the description of an anxiety episode.
Seeing through fogged glasses is cloudy and obscure. The truth now becomes blurred. And then these outlines of fog remind me of rain, and rain reminds me of storms, which got me thinking and subsequently worrying about the potential of a hurricane. The next thing I know, I'm already in my hurricane shelter with numb fingers and white knuckles, clutching my emergency kit that I'd packed weeks prior in case of an event like this. Because what if I'm trapped in here for a few days, you know? The next thing I know, I'm cowering from the world, all because I saw some fog that could be a hurricane. I see fine without them, really. Sometimes I wonder why I wear them at all, but with shaking hands, I take off my glasses to rub my aching eyes. Everything is hazy still, but there is fog no longer. In these moments, as I lay beside you in the dark, I fret, am I too much?
Okay. Thank you, Subeksha. Next, we have Mikey Luria performing A Dose of Self-Love, another original piece by Hitomi Torung. There's a content warning for medication reliance.
I've always had this searching, yearning, sort of tug, a fleeting feeling, eager, prodding, curious, a fascination with human relationships. Is two people meeting like two lines in this plane of existence, meeting only once on a tangent, brief and fleeting, and never again? Or is it rather something with more permanence, like that of a spider's web, intricate, precarious, and beautiful, yet a force to be reckoned with? I've always wanted a forever, and always, as romantic and silly and idealistic and irrational that may be, I wonder if there is someone out there in the tangled cosmos of fate who I can entrust with my entirety, who's willing to brave storms, extinguish fires, and embark on arduous journeys with the shards of my soul. An empathetic ear, and hugs so warm, the whole, they could melt ice. They should feel like hands wrapped tightly around a steaming cup of tea, where the tendrils of water vapor curl around your face in a way that makes you homesick. They should feel like security, like loyalty and certainty, and of unconditional love. I want to be enamored with their every action, cherish their darkest insecurities, douse them with appreciation, and serenade them with praises. But as time passes me by, I doubt if this person exists for me as I recall the 3 a.m. sobs that rack my body, where no one is watching, listening, or caring, when I'm absolutely certain that I am truly alone in this universe. After all, I am but a speck of existence. But perhaps the person I've been seeking is none other than the girl in the mirror every morning, this body I reside in, with the occasional eczema flare-ups, with the chemical imbalance that only pills can fix, with a perpetually oily forehead and out-of-place nose, with the temperamental hair and the anxiety attacks and depression spirals that render her bedridden some days. I do not know, but I do know that when there is no one else there to share my burdens, I'll show up when no one else can. Now that's a promise I can keep.
Thank you, Mikey. Our next performer is August McMahon, who has written an original piece titled Greenwood Garrison, accompanied by an original artwork.
Thank you, Melody. Greenwood Garrison. Upon petals of fresh flowers does the morning dew linger, until it is too much for the delicate petals, buckling under the weight. She weeps, drops falling as the sun rises ever higher, drying tears with warmth, vaporizing without evidence they'd existed at all. Through spring she stands resilient, resuming her posture. Come summer she is weakened, sucked dry by nightly burdens. She draws inward in conservation, preservation, fear. In vain she contracts to save what was, but what was is not, and it was never so. Blossoms will wilt, and pigment fade. Delicacy melts, revealing truth. The thorns, defying transience, once again define persistent branches fused to a spindly trunk that extends from both ends, one to heaven and one to hell. By heaven he is ignited, scorched dry by merciless rays, so in hell he has nestled, wrapping roots in its embrace. Through them he pulls, tugs at the memories of petals, and their tears shed, growing stronger by their consumption, honoring, appreciating, thriving, but blooming nevermore. Were he to perish, blazing under judgment, or were he to adorn himself in fabricated visages of her to win favor from above, she will have suffered in vain, insulted by mismemory. It is not for himself that he perseveres, but for the one who, in setting him free, has herself resigned.
Thank you, August. Up next is Natasha Ham performing an anonymous piece titled 698 Days. There is a content warning for self-harm, addiction, and depression.
This is a song I wrote a while ago about self-harm, but I'm pretty sure anyone who has engaged in some kind of self-destructive behavior will relate. I was counting dates where I was self-harm free and I relapsed after 698 days. I was so humiliated and pissed at myself since 698 is a big number, and I couldn't handle the fact that I was at this great university, yet still was so depressed. I'm in a much better place now, walking towards 600 days self-harm free. I'll be so proud when I reach 698 days again and not relapse so I can be at 700 days and eventually at 1,000 plus days. Writing this song helped me a lot in organizing my thoughts. I hope the lyrics mean something to you all. I'm back at 0, counting the days we don't talk. The numbers grow, freaks me out, makes me want to disappear. We're back at the start line, to when we were just kids. We both know how this began, and it just hurts too much. I thought 698 days were enough to say, you're just a memory of the past, but you never disappear. The twisted love of us, I spent 698 days without you. Guess everything was cool by now, but you're so addictive. I have reset the number yet again. Hiding in the bathroom, too scared to show the damage, blood smears out from the wounds you had created. You hear only when I'm weak. It's a broken interdependence. I don't know how to stop this, and you always linger. I thought 698 days were enough to say, you're just a memory of the past, but you never disappear, the twisted love of us. I spent 698 days without you, guessed everything was cool by now. But you're so addictive. I have reset the number yet again. Please leave. I'm enjoying the pain. Happiness isn't as satisfactory. You're haunting me. The scars remind me that the end of this road might be death. 698 days from now, will I be truly free? Will I have understood the cost of this love? 698 days from now, will I have grown up? Will I have stopped obsessing over these meaningless numbers? What happened to us? Why are you still here? Didn't we say goodbye a while ago?
Thank you, Natasha. For our penultimate performance, we'd like to welcome former YMM board member Zainab Bati, performing her original untitled piece.
Self-worth was a stranger to me for a good 7 years of my short 21. No, not a stranger. There's a certain level of kindness and courtesy you extend to a stranger. You maintain some sort of emotional distance, but if they're kind, you're open. You want to explore them like uncharted territory. There's mystery, but there's an excitement to solve that mystery. No, self-worth was not even a stranger. It was someone I simply did not wish to see, to acknowledge, to greet. There was no courtesy. There was no kindness. There was no mystery. There was avoidance. But avoidance acknowledges that which should be ignored. My mind's eye projected nothing. Affection was someone, unlike self-worth, who was present, absent, and stolen, all at the same time. Presence was comforting when it did not leave, when it was not taken away. My relationship with affection made it painful to acknowledge self-worth. Though I did catch glimpses here and there of its great beauty, its great love, and an even greater taste of affection. But it took yet another relationship, a patient relationship with time, for me to see the beauty, the love, the affection. And it was profound, like nothing I had ever experienced. I looked in the mirror at my nose and my face. Self-worth caressed my face in her hands, gently grazed her fingers across the bridge and tip of my nose. I welcomed myself, not with sadness, not with my younger self's agony, no, not with her pain. I embraced my nose, my face, with open arms as one would a friend they had not seen in quite some time. It was me. It was loving myself with the amount of love I generously gave others, but starved myself of like a prisoner on meal rations. Because you cannot escape prison when you are the warden, when your own mind built the cell. Unworthy was one of my companions, someone I always listened to, spent time with, someone always on my mind when I was around others, especially when I was around others, but not anymore. When I welcomed self-worth, I didn't say goodbye to unworthy. I walked away with my new friend and my new self. Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab. Finally, our last performer is Elise Portnoy, performing her original piece, I Have a Dream.
I have a dream, a world of peace, a time of love, a time of ease. I have a dream that you and I, sister and brother, can touch the sky. I have a dream so clear and strong to keep us safe when nights are long. I have a dream of hopeful times, what's mine is yours and yours is mine. I have a dream of no more war, no more hunger, no more poor. I have a dream, so keep one too. Start a dream and you'll find you.
Okay, thank you, Elise, and thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. A big thank you to our writers and performers. Without you, this event could not happen. We really appreciate everyone who is here tonight and those who have supported us but couldn't make it to the event. One last thing before we formally end the event, we'd like to let you all know this event has been recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel and to our website, both in its entirety and in piece-by-piece highlights, along with the transcripts. Keep an eye out on our various social media and on our website for updates.
Again, thank you all so much for your time, and we hope this has been a night or morning to remember. You may not be able to see all the people here tuning in, but I hope that the next time you hit a low or feel alone, you know that there's so many people out there ready to give you a hand. Or maybe you have been empowered to be that person for someone else. Together, we will fight the stigma around mental health. And to all the people watching this later, please remember you're not alone. Once again, thank you all so much, and we hope you have a great rest of the week.